Well, I know it's happening to me. How many times have you checked your mailbox and found it just full of junk mail?
Oh, every day.
It is nothing but solicitations that you want to just toss into the trash.
But do you really know what you're throwing away? All of that junk mail may contain information that identity thieves need to turn your life upside down. And it's not just junk mail. Just think about all of those other personal documents that could pose a problem if they get into the wrong hands. Protecting yourself can be simple, and it starts with a proper paper shredder.
People are looking for easy targets, and unfortunately sometimes we make it easy for them.
Tax expert Kendall Regen says it just takes some basic information for thieves to steal your identity. Many people protect themselves by making a trip to the shredder. Any paper with a name, address, social security number, or date of birth on it must go.
Those are all things that you have to keep an eye on, and you need to shred those and get rid of them if those documents have that information on them.
Kendall says these days identity thieves will do just about anything to piece together information you don't want them to have.
They can get your shredded vertical documents and put them together with software and time.
He says it's worth spending a little extra to make sure you're using the right type of shredder that cross-cuts.
Because it's almost impossible for them to take these together and put them back together.
Kendall says it's also smart not to let documents with sensitive information pile up for years. He says tax documents, pay stubs, and even bank or credit card statements all have a shelf life before they have to go.
So let's talk about that shelf life. How long should you keep your personal documents? Well, according to USA.gov, you should keep your tax records for 7 years from the filing date. Bank statements need to be held for 1 year unless you need them to support tax filings. Credit card records should be kept until they're paid off, or again unless you need them to support tax filings. And receipts for large purchases should be kept until you sell or discard the item. And when it comes to pay stubs, USA.gov suggests discarding them after checking them against your W-2 form. So it's one thing to shred your documents. Unfortunately, it's not as easy to shred your electrons.
Yeah, way too tiny. Now, if you have a PC and you don't have any kind of a firewall on it, you have probably run into that mysterious little entity that some call a hacker. But what exactly is a hacker? Well, now, originally to be known as a hacker was a good thing. That was somebody who can make a computer do anything, and some say that in the digital cultures say that hackers were the ones that created the internet. Now, on the flip side of that, those who like to break into things and mess things up are known more as crackers. And according to those who participated in the very beginnings of the online experience, hackers want nothing to do with crackers. Now, whether you call them hackers or crackers, iPhones and iPads are now being held hostage with demands for money to unlock the device.
Yeah, I thought it was a joke. It was like, yeah, whatever.
It was this 4 a.m. text that had Victor Sohm trying to figure out what was going on.
You've been hacked by Oleg Pliss, and tried to open my phone, and it just brought up a password. And I've never set a password on my phone.
Sohm is among an unknown number of iPhone, iPad, and Mac users whose devices have been hacked, locked, and, according to the texts, being held for ransom by someone using the name Oleg Pliss. Whoever he is, he wants $100 to unlock the items. Sohm is now using his mom's old cell phone.
It used to be my lifeline for music, social media, and kind of a lifeline for if something happened.
The majority of phones hacked are said to be in Australia, but there are a few people on the Apple support thread that are from the United States. One person wrote, "I'm in the U.S., never been to Australia, hacked last night by the Oleg Pliss nonsense, currently restoring to try to get back online."
The whole reason I got into Apple was to prevent hacks and viruses, and here it is being hacked.
When asked how to fix the problem, an Apple Store employee said you should bring the phone in and they'll reset the phone and unlock it, but you'll lose everything on it from music to contacts if you don't already have it backed up.
I'm probably going to end up just completely resetting the device, just erasing everything, losing all my pictures.
Now, the Federal Communications Commission has come up with several tips to smartphone security to prevent unauthorized access to your phone. Be sure to set a password or personal identification number on your phone's home screen as a first line of defense, just in case your phone is lost or stolen. Before downloading an app, make sure that app is legitimate. A lot of apps from untrusted sources contain malware that can steal information and install viruses. And Be cautious about granting applications access to personal information on your phone. Make sure to also check the privacy settings for each app before installing. As much as I hate to admit it, that one's gotten me before. So you got to watch out for that. Now, while we're talking about gadgets and technology, a lot of us want to pay a visit to those wonderful little machines that spit out money. ATM machines can be extremely convenient. All you have to do is walk up. In seconds, you got cash.
Yeah, but unfortunately, thieves are using them too as a way to steal your information. They can install an almost invisible skimmer on ATMs. These skimmers steal your debit card information, and then a miniature camera over the keypad steals your PIN, giving a thief everything they need to drain your account. Now, here are a few places you should avoid using your debit card.
Online, definitely online a lot. I get nervous when I online shop.
The gas station, I want to say.
Most people know to look for skimmers at ATMs, but gas stations are also a favorite target for thieves. Last year, 4 men were arrested for allegedly stealing $2.1 million using skimmers. Another spot to be wary of, restaurants. Some servers bring handheld card skimmers to work to swipe your card info or even write down credit card numbers. And stores. Any spot with a steady stream of customers is a target. Finally, never use a debit card online. Always use a credit card with fraud protections. A hacker can't overdraft your bank account with a credit card.
Another way to keep safe, hold your hand over the keypad when you use your PIN. This blocks a camera from seeing what you're doing.
But it's not just your debit card. Crooks can also get the information they need from your credit card as well. And once again, they're using those skimming skills to do it. Now, we know that knowledge is key to staying safe. So here's a closer look at how skimming works.
One swift swipe is all it takes for thieves to take from your bank account.
It's basically taking a second scan of a credit card or a debit card to record the information that has been imprinted on the magnetic strip.
Watch this restaurant surveillance video closely. The cashier takes customers' credit cards, swipes it at the cash register, and then on a small handheld device.
In that split second of the second swipe, all the information on the record is recorded.
Police haven't released this restaurant's name or the employees because they believe that she's part of a criminal ring, paying her for each swipe.
Once a number is skimmed and it is then added to a series of numbers, that some of those numbers could possibly be used immediately and some of them may be held back. Detective
Tim Chancellor says the problem is widespread.
This is any store and it is every store. This is something where, as community members and as citizens, that part of the responsibility is that we have to be diligent with the information that we have.
Police say skimming is a growing problem. That device the cashier discreetly used, anyone can buy one online, costing anywhere from $75 to $200.
So we've touched on credit and debit cards, and just so you know, they are treated differently by the consumer protection laws. According to CNN, under federal law, your personal liability for fraudulent charges on a credit card cannot exceed $50. But if a fraudster uses your debit card, you could be liable for $500 or more, depending on how quickly you report it.
And another thing I'm hearing about is when the machine asks you if you want cash back and you say no, make sure on your receipt that it shows that, because sometimes clerks can override that and take the money for themselves.
Really?
I just read about that, so you want to be careful.
Wow.
When we're talking finances, perhaps you've been saving up to buy a new bicycle. Riding a bike is the perfect way to take in all the beauty that Delmarva has to offer, but when it comes to bikes, there are so many options. A little later, our friends from Angie's List help you decide which bike is best for you.
But up next, we've all had those days when we feel like we could just use a friend. Well, that's where the Buddy Bench can help. We're going to tell you more about the concept and meet the second grader who came up with the idea. Delmarva Live will be right back.